I'm Frank Fellers, the owner of Fellers. This is the 3M air release tool. Now there's lots of ways to release air from wraps that have air that's trapped behind that vinyl. But this 3M tool is really interesting and special. And I've got Justin Pate here. He's the world's leading wrap trainer, owner of the Wrap Institute. So you're doing a lot of training out there.
Lots of training.
And tell us why this 3M air release tool, which is, you know, obviously more expensive than just using a pen.
Sure.
Why is it important to have in your wrap tool chest? Of course, I know one benefit right now is I can put it right in my pocket, right?
Which is cool. You know, I mean, for me, you know, a lot of the workshops I teach and a lot of videos for the Wrap Institute, I really emphasize doing the right steps, using the right tools, and not skipping or kind of cutting corners. As soon as you cut a corner, problems happen. So basically what this tool is, a little sharp point at the tip, and basically if you get a bubble, whether you're doing cut vinyl on a window or wrapping a car in a recessed area, you want to let the air out. So what this is super, super, super tiny and sharp. So the smaller the hole, it'll shrink back and it'll kind of seal itself once the air is out. A lot of installers kind of get in a what I think is a bad habit where they use their knife and they kind of poke a hole and they come at the side and they make a bigger hole than they should. What happens over time, especially in recessed areas, is material kind of shrinks back over time. That hole gets bigger, and what gets in that hole is dirt and water, and that compromises the final install. So for me, investing in a tool like this and just making it a good habit to kind of use all the time makes a big difference. So what I'm going to do for your customers is show a great demo in a trash can that really shows the emphasis, the technique of why you should use this over a knife, and then how to use this on a vehicle and what particular stations and how to use this. But for me, it's a game changer. Just use it, the right tool, the right time, and again, no question you should be using a tool like this.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No problem.
This is a close-up overview of the 3M air release tool. The body is made of metal, so it's extremely durable. To release the pen inside the holder, simply press the top of the air release tool and the pen comes out. Once you pop a bubble, to retract the pen, simply press the button on the side and it clicks back in safely. So again, press the top, press the side. And here's a nice shot of why the air release tool is extremely important to use as opposed to a knife. So the tip is extremely thin and pointy, while the knife is wide. And here, this is a good demonstration on a trash can. And this is a technique that I've picked up from a 3M technician in Europe named Ruben van Ram. And on the right side, on the top side here, you're going to use the knife to poke holes. On the bottom half of the trash can, using the air release tool. Same technique coming in at 90 degrees, but you'll see quickly, after the material is stretched, the difference between using a knife and the air release tool. So again, the film is heated up, and this is particularly pertinent for bubbles that are popped in recessed areas, which you'll see in a second. Once the film gets at a good temperature, the film is stretched into the trash can. We'll get a nice close-up now of the side that was used with the knife. And again, logically, as it stretches, you can see them, but with the air release tool, just as many holes were made, but you don't see them. And again, this is a perfect example of the difference of using the air release tool versus a knife. So again, proper technique for using the air release tool. Once you have the bubble, you set it up so it has a nice clear defined edge, and then you always come into the bubble at a 90-degree angle. This creates wide enough hole for the air to escape, but not a big enough hole so that once the air is out, you don't see where the air came out. So here's an example of how you do not want to use the air release tool. It's come in from a 45-degree angle. The air comes out just as easy as it did with a 90-degree angle, but the end result is you can see it on the face of the film. So you always want to make sure you come in at a 90-degree angle for that long-term quality. When you get to bubbles in recessed areas, and this is a major area around the door handle, but again, this is a technique that works equally good for when you get to, let's say, sprinter recessed areas, anywhere where the film has been stretched. You always want to make sure you use the air release tool on the edge of the recessed area. Never use it in the middle of that bubble. And once the film is stretched into this door handle, you'll see very clearly the difference. So again, working into the middle, sealing the edge, and letting the air come out through where the air release made the holes. If you get a nice close-up here, you can see those little hole prints right there. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3 on the right. But if you go to the edge, again, 3 holes are made, you don't see anything because that's the least amount of tension. So always poke a hole at the edge of a bubble in a recessed area, and that'll keep the film from splitting, which dirt and water will get underneath. So again, for good habit, always reach for your air release tool instead of your knife to poke a hole. Once you poke a hole, always retract the pen for safety, then put it in your tool bag.